I don't think, I honestly don't think he was saying anything wrong, but what he's doing is he's talking in the margins, Stephen, about things.
Yes.
And not about the meat. He's been doing this a lot where it's like he says things that are necessarily accurate but have no, I mean, it's like, yeah, that's true, but it's true for everybody. Get to the point.
Are you implying that he might be deflecting?
He might be.
But I bet when he thinks these things and then says them in front of a fawning Today Show kind of person staring at him with the big eyes and everything, they sound really, really, really deep.
Yeah.
And then they come out of his mouth and it sounds so remarkably inane to sit there and say, because somebody still has to build the ATMs.
Yeah.
Somebody, when we automated assembly lines, somebody has to build the robots that run the assembly line. It never really, it's a specious argument that if you're automating something, that everybody's losing all their jobs.
Yeah, because somebody, like you said, somebody has to build the machine that builds the machine until, of course, Bill, the machine builds the machine.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Orwell.
Yes, yes. Who's that?
Out of a buddy of mine down the street.
But you don't have a bank account, Bill, so none of this means anything to you.
I do have a meager one. That's why I think he was very brave to say this. The Washington Examiner talked to a manufacturer of ATM machines, and they employ 200 people.
Oh.
Yeah.
But she was outraged. She called our president crazy. And I think it was brave for him to say that because as someone with a crappy bank account, I am not going to piss off an industry with direct access to it, and they can press their make Bill's crappier bank account even crappier button at any moment. It could happen to him.
Somebody has to build that button, though.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But Bill, I don't think the bank is what's making your bank account crappier. It's somebody named Julio who you meet at 2 in the morning.
Julio is a full-time job. And by the way, I'm dating Julio. That's what he meant. And I always buy dinner.
A full-time job. By the way, all the times I've ever been on Red Eye, and God knows it's a lot of times, specious. First time I've ever heard anyone use the word specious. Well
Really?
Done. Well done, you.
Yeah. Well, that's your comment?
No, my comment is that I think they're all wrong. I think Obama is hearkening back fondly to some Stalin-era Soviet Union when we had 14 people sitting in a desk to do one person's job. And you go and you get your piece of paper, and then they say, go to the next booth. And you go to the next booth, and they stamp one stamp, and they go to the next booth. And, you go there, and eventually, you would get the signature after passing through layers of employment, but it kept people employed.
It's a good point, because actually I still go to banks once in a while, and there are people there, but I don't understand. What did we do before ATMs? Like when you, again, at 2 in the morning, Bill? What did you do?
You didn't
I would get a
your
lot
money.
more sleep.
Yeah.
I miss the pneumatic tubes.
Yeah.
Loved the pneumatic tubes.
The tubes were the best.
I'd deposit 20 cents just to do that.
Oh,
Honestly, before ATMs with Bill, Julio was more of a 12-hour
Well,
job.
before Julio, I used to date a pneumatic tube.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Way better than Julio.
The TSA did not like you bringing that forward.
And you know what? Neither did my bank.
But in a society and government that doesn't encourage private enterprise, what you're talking about is right.
Yeah.
This is what happens. People aren't going to find work to create new businesses.
Well, that's why government is the fastest growing employer in this country. I mean, just keep throwing more people at it. Doesn't matter how efficient it is. And that's what drives Obama crazy half the time about trying to deal with the private sector, which I think he has a hard time understanding. Efficiency, fine, great efficiency. And then if you leave it to the private sector and the capital markets, they will find other opportunities. They will create other sectors and jobs and businesses. And that's the way it goes, and that's the way it has gone. But he is very reluctant to follow that path.
Mike, are you done?
Let me think.
I got to go to break.
Bill, am I done?
He made a great point, and I'll tell you what, because he was holding a pen while he said
know.
that pen has volumes.
Yeah, I've learned that from several pundits.
All right, I got to lean back, and then I got to lean forward. I got to lean back, I got to lean forward. Coming up, should the homely be allowed to drive? Diana Falzone discusses her new book, Stay Off the Road, Ugly, Ugly People. But first, nicely done.
Finger wagging.
Does Red Eye have the inside scoop on the next Sex and the City sequel? Of course not. No one tells us anything. It seems an F-bomb was treated like a real bomb on a Denver flight bound for Newark. Who goes there today? After a New York City resident was kicked off for swearing. 37-year-old Robert Saig, a children's book author, was made to wait 45 minutes along with his fellow frequent flyers before boarding. Once Rob was on, a flight attendant heard him say to a fellow passenger, quote, "What's taking so effing long to close the overhead compartment?" Well, he didn't expect that person to overhear him, who I like to call a fink. Here's Shep, our guy, interviewing Robert Wednesday.
The only reason that this guy heard me, the flight attendant,
was the flight attendant who...
flight attendant that heard me. He was sitting in his jump seat getting ready, just one row away from me.
Okay.
All right, so I wasn't saying it that loud. People in
So
front
you're
of
in
me,
a bulkhead of some kind.
I'm basically right near the bathrooms in the back.
Oh.
So he hears me
Glorious.
say it, hears me say it again, and all of a sudden I just hear him say, "That's it," and punches his hand down, takes himself out of his jump seat because we were already taxiing out to take off.
I love Shep. Wow. And then Mr. Smith gets to the heart of the matter.
Were you
know
drunk?
what no, was not.
You were hungover?
I was hungover. I was coming back from my cousin's wedding.
So you're
Just
sitting on a
having-
plane, it's hot, you're sweaty, you're hungover, you're having a bad day, you're like,
Yeah, literally, I didn't hit my hand that hard. I mean, it wasn't, I didn't stand up, I didn't direct it at him.
Somehow Shep knows. He knows. And with that, the plane returned to the terminal where the police boarded and escorted the dude off the swear-free skies. Robert now says he's considering a lawsuit against the airline. For more on this story, let's go to Fox News travel correspondent Ears McCoy for analysis. Ears.
落ちます。右耳を立ちます。
Oh, good stuff as always, Ears. Steven, are the airlines now kind of like bullies in a bar? They're just waiting for you to pop off to start something?
They're waiting to go in and handle a threat that's not really a threat, so it seems like they're paying attention to threats while ignoring the actual stuff that's dangerous out there still. And it's like, and the flight attendants, since talk about a job that should be automated now. Well, I don't know what they do anymore, okay, except have an attitude.
Yeah.
Every time they're always pissed off. They do half the work they used to do, and they're still cranky with the passengers all the time.
Baker, what's that look on your face? Are you flying tomorrow?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking about whether it would be a social experiment for the ages. But I'm also thinking that I don't know about this guy or the story, but I've got little kids, right?
Yeah.
And so I do actually know this guy as a children's book author.
No way!
Yeah.
So that's why he should be punished.
Exactly. And Scooter, who just turned 4 years old, loves one of his books, which is called I Love You So Effing Much. And then Sammy, who's 2, he loves the one Mommy Loves You So Effing Much. And so that's why I was smiling, because I know his work.
Oh, very good, very good. Diane, what was it a huge overreaction?
I think so. I actually hate flying now because you're right. It seems like the airline staff are a bunch of bullies. I remember asking if I could use the restroom before we even took off. Like, sit down.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I just asked if I could use the restroom.
Was it an older female flight attendant?
Yes, and they cackled. They
That's what
gathered
did it.
together.
They looked at you and they said, you're too hot to go to the bathroom.
So then I peed my pants.
There you
that
go.
was a mess for everyone.
Oh,
You make that oddly attractive.
I know. It's like none of us are oddly sickened by
No,
that.
I'm not sickened
We're
at all.
sad,
No reaction
sad people.
whatsoever.
I want to clean your diaper.
I
Bill,
was being
terrible.
a shock jock.
Honestly, I thought hot people didn't have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, no, they did. Well, you're hot.
Baker,
too.
obviously you know hot people go to the bathroom.
Bill,
I saw you in that stall.
Isn't it interesting that the guy was hungover? Did you ever get worried when you're on a plane and you're hungover that they just don't like you because you're hungover?
Yeah, you're not as patient.
Yeah.
You're not as patient. You don't accept things as they are when
Yes.
you've had a whiskey-filled night. I would say it's the flight attendants on up to the pilots. This is a buyer's market, and yet their talents decrease every day. I was on a flight, and I lost a significant freelance assignment because they said, no lie, over the speaker, that the pilot had slept in. That was it. They'd actually give us, and you could tell they didn't like the guy because they gave us the truth.
Yeah.
But and then as I was going out, I swear to God, one of the flight attendants said, I want to ask him, like, did you really just say that? He goes, yeah, what can I tell you? S happens, man. It actually said that to me. I'm not going to mention the name of the airlines, but I will say it rhymes with Schmelta.
Really?
Yes.
I like Schmelta.
Schmelta has gone down.
I got bumped from a flight by them, and I was scared to talk to them because I thought that they would just like have me you never know anymore. They're in a way they know that they have the power,
Right.
but also at the same time, I don't like people who swear in public places. Right. I find that irritating. I will swear. Swear all the time. But when you're in an area and some guy starts saying the F word, I'm kind of like, maybe he should get thrown off.
Sometimes I'll be on a United Airlines flight and I want to swear.
Yeah.
And Schmerican.
Anybody who doesn't understand at this point in our airline history that the air stewards and stewardesses are incredibly overworked. They're underpaid. They're highly unappreciated. They're frazzled.
That's everyone in the United States.
That's a guy
I know.
traveling tomorrow.
But you have to understand they're also in a confined environment, right?
Right.
And so
it's a job they took.
And exactly. But what I'm saying, the point I'm making is that you've got these people in that condition, right?
Yeah.
And now they have the authority to do this. They're empowered to do this should they so choose.
Yes.
I mean, I suspect that anybody around his table, given that opportunity, would pull that trigger.
Yo, I'm a jerk.
On some jerk.
I'm a big
wouldn't.
jerk. I will say that like 98% of all flight attendants are wonderful people. Let's just say that.
Most of them are.
Yeah, most of them are. It's just 2%. 2% are jerks. That's probably it.
I mean, you said 99% are really good people and 2% are jerks.
I retract my they should be automated.
I don't. Yeah. Now you feel bad, don't you?
Because I have to get on a Smelta flight early in the morning. And the Schmelta people are huge, red eye.
Yeah, I'm flying on Mouthfest.
I like the
Actually, that's a real. That's not a euphemism. It's called Mouthfest.
I like the cable option on Schmet Schmoo.
Well,
Yeah, that's great. You can actually watch TV there.
All right, do you have a comment on the show? Email us. It's redeye@foxnews.com. And to leave a voicemail, my direct line, call 212-462-5050. Still to come, the halftime report from TV's Andy Levy. He's a schmirk.
Tonight's halftime report is sponsored by light bulbs, that incandescent globe that makes light by heating a metal filament until it glows. Thanks, light bulbs.
Welcome back. Let's find out if we've got anything wrong so far. For that, we go to TV's Andy Levy. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Greg. Let's get right to it, shall we?
No.
All right, Greg Wiener. Let's see, Greg. You referred to Plattsburgh as the home of the Steelers. That's Pittsburgh, as I believe Stephen Cruiser could probably tell you.
All right, so wait. Then the Plattsburgh is home to the Pirates.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Did you refer to Rudy Giuliani as our next president?
Yes.
Yeah, that's funny stuff.
Thank you.
You referred to Gloria Allred both as a shameless opportunist and a delight.
Yes.
I don't think you can do that.
She is a delightfully shameless opportunist.
Okay, well, that's
Look, I see her out in front.
That's wholly different.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You also said that Dancing Dog was less hairier than Wiener.
Yes.
Maybe just less hairy.
Okay.
All right. Now for the actual show.
All right.
All right. Mike, you said if you're a dude, there's no reason for wearing women's clothes. Yeah, I'm sure all those secret society Yale types who run the CIA never dressed up as women in college.
Never.
No.
I almost said we. They were always given an exception. Yeah.
Is that right?
Seriously, I can't say anymore.
Also, what about the great J. Edgar Hoover?
Seriously, I can't say anything. My decoder ring is flashing right now.
I feel like your entire.
Can you go to someone else?
Gonna get shot.
I feel like your entire stance on this is based on the silly CIA FBI rivalry that just weakens our national security.
No, that's a cheap shot at
I
that
think
silly CIA
you, sir,
FBI
are the
rivalry.
problem. You, sir, are the problem.
I always. Well, okay, I give up.
Baker, put on a
He's
dress right
No,
now.
you're absolutely right. If you excuse me, I'm gonna go put on something a little strapless. Maybe with pleated.
Just make yourself a little more comfortable.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Just now I'm about to get angry. Diana, you ragged on Ginger Lee, saying she's pretending to be the victim, and you're not really sure why. So just because she's a former porn star and now she dances, she's got some kind of culpability here?
No, but she was already engaging with a married man on Twitter.
But she was not engaging in any, at least according to her story, she was not engaging in any kind of sexual texting whatsoever. She was talking about politics. If you check out her Twitter stream and her Tumblr, she talks about politics a lot. I checked it out before the show.
Of course she did.
Okay.
I did. She talks about politics a lot. Quite frankly, I believe her.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe you guys should start direct messaging on Twitter. I mean, that would be good for you.
No,
get away from the cats a little bit.
All of you, like Greg, you kind of followed this theme. You mocked her for saying Wiener should resign because he lied. Quote, as if lying is worse than having sex for money on camera.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot worse. Lying to the American people who you're supposed to be representing is a lot worse than doing something that's not harming anyone. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I think we've touched on it. What is with you and Ginger Lee?
Nothing. I just thought it was
with Andy on this. I think Andy's right.
You guys were basically calling her whole character into question and dogging her because she was a former porn star. I don't get that. That doesn't mean.
Once you're a porn star, you're always a porn star, Andy.
It's like being Speaker of the House. They always refer to you as Mr. Speaker after.
Or ambassador.
Yeah.
All right.